Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 73. Subscribe for edit videos daily. If this doesn't belong here, I apologize. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I recently used to work at a well-known dollar store chain in the Midwest USA. I have a number of stores as a cashier and stocker, but one that I've been a bit hesitant to share was this one. Cast, me, 19F. C1. Co-worker 1. Same age as me and a goth dude who was pretty cool. C2. Co-worker 2. Super nice guy in his 40s who liked sports and oldies music. RG. Random guy and topic of the story. Okay, so we were working one night a couple months back and it was around 8 PM. I don't really remember, but I was after dark for sure. We had started sweeping and usual cleanup stuff when this Hispanic guy, RG, in his late 30s to early 40s comes into the store. C1 was working the register and I was a couple aisles down straightening the toys for the nth time that day. C1 welcomed him out of habit and at first didn't really notice the guy was stumbling a bit, and when C2 comes around the corner he notices that there is a fair amount of blood coming down the guy's head and out his left ear and onto his dirty shirt. C1, C2 and I come over and we're asking the guy if he is okay and if he needs an ambulance. He kind of refuses to say anything specific, either out of confusion from his head wound or because he was doing something prior that he didn't want to get in trouble for. Despite the size of our town, we have a pretty decent drug problem. We call an ambulance anyway and RG mumbles about how he was just getting out of his car and someone was approaching him and he doesn't remember much after that aside from waking up on the ground beside his car. C2 goes outside and sure enough there is an old SUV with the driver's door wide open and a bit of blood on the ground near it. It was a rainy night so the gravel was muddy, hence RG's dirty appearance. The police and ambulances get here and ask him questions and he is transported to the small hospital down the road. Nothing much else my co-workers and I could do except continue cleaning and close the store after giving our statements. Luckily there was no one else in the store. Please note that while we had CCTV, none of our cameras were outside and the man had parked on the side of the building out of view of our front door. This area is usually where the trucks unload and where my co-workers and I usually parked our cars. We had no camera evidence of him being attacked. We live in a small town of less than 2,000 population, so crimes like this don't happen often. There is a bit of gang activity in our town, but it's hard to say why he was attacked. I said mugged, but IDK if anything he had was stolen. I never heard what happened to him after this as I quit shortly after. Anyways, thanks for reading if you made it this far. TL. Doctor, guy comes into our store and was a bloody mess and scared the crap out of us and we had to call police. Hope the guy is okay now as I honestly have no clue. Thank you. Next. I work at a big name home improvement retailer. On this particular day back last summer, I had the absolute pleasure of being on the register, typically a garden associate, where I'd much rather be. I walk up to self-checkout to see a couple new hires and tell them if they need any help or have any questions to let me know since I've worked there for a couple years. As I'm standing there I notice one of them talking to this middle-aged gentleman. They wave me over and ask me what our price match policy is. I them that as long as it's the same product stocked in a local store, we can match the price and take it down by a small percentage. Well, this man has a dehumidifier and found one online for cheaper. So I begin to look at it and realize that the one he's looking at online isn't the same one. I'm sorry, so this isn't even the same product. The model numbers don't line up. I unfortunately can't price match it for you. C. What do you mean it's not the same thing? They look exactly the same. Logic. Knowing this man's about to go full Karen. Yes sir, it looks the same, but the model number doesn't match. Therefore it is not the same product. C. This is ridiculous. He then frantically searches for the model he has and finds one for cheaper than what we're selling for. C. Here. This good enough for you? Okay, this is the same one, but it's not sold in stores. Therefore I can't price match it. I'm sorry. Well, he goes into a expletive-filled rant about how there is a sign near the dehumidifiers that says we'll price match it, and that we're giving out false advertising. Blah, blah, blah. Then he demands to speak to a manager. Luckily the head cashier had just walked to front, so I grab him and tell him the situation. The HC tells the man exactly what I told him. We even take him to a computer to prove that the competitor didn't sell that model in stores. This still doesn't appease him and he demands to speak to a real manager. So I call on Azam, who says exactly what we say, to which then replies afterwards that he doesn't care what Azam says. We need to honor our advertising, customer logic, and right. He keeps on ranting about what the sign says, so me having had enough, tell him to take me to the sign. Well, he does, and lo and behold, no sign. See, well, the sign was just right here. Where did it go? You had somebody come and take the sign down, didn't you? This man literally thought we cared enough about not price matching his freaking dehumidifier that we sent some secret bat signal to the other employees to take the sign down in an act of rebellion to his awe-inspiring revelation that we're false advertising our price match policy. I wish this story had a better ending than it does. Unfortunately, this grown man continued his temper tantrum in the middle of the store until the HC caved and allowed him to price match it, but not with the extra off. It amazes me the type of logic used, and the Fitz customers will have to get their way. I don't remember how much of a discount it was, but it sure wasn't enough for the level of immaturity this man had to steep to. Retail is fun, boys and girls. It at least provides some entertaining stories. Thank you. Next. So yesterday I went back to my job after being in the hospital for 2 weeks. Sure, things were different, like new people, aisleways getting cleared up of racks because people were stealing, but that's besides the point of this post. Our story begins in the juniors department. It's notorious for preteen girls, teenage girls, young women and sometimes moms. Now it's right across from our pet eats area. This will be important later on. We were unstaffed, like always, so I was the only one at the register and had to check all fitting room. I see these 4 teenage girls walk into juniors department. I guess one needed some leggings, so she picks out her pair and all 4 of them walk into the fitting room. My tired ass didn't think much of it, like maybe they were there to talk or whatever. I go about my task of organizing the pet eats fitting room. Now since I'm in the fitting room, everything from the JR's department is not in my view whenever I turn my back. Eventually the girls come out of the fitting room on the JR's side. I can't see them, so I think they couldn't find what they wanted. Boy, was I wrong. When the manager on duty went to check the fitting room, he found one of the girls' leggings, which meant she had stolen one of our pairs. Here's the kicker. They were still in the store, in our makeup department doing stuff. The manager throws away her leggings. I'm not sure if they got talked to or stopped because I had to leave, but that's my tale. LOL. Side note, as I'm trying to go to sleep, I had a thought that if I found the leggings, if I was bold enough, that I would go up to the girls and say this, so it looks like you left your clothes in the fitting room and took a long walk in our leggings. You know, if the size doesn't fit, we have bigger sizes. Haha, IDK, something like that. Thank you. Next. Sorry for the lack of a better description in the title. Genuinely couldn't find a funny or enticing way to title the story, but wanted to share. Anyway, I'm placed on the register and it's a pretty slow time. Couple of customers in the whole store and it's about 1h before closing time. I see one customer who's very close to the register picking out the items, so I stay put in my station to avoid having to run back and forth across the store. I'm just minding my business. Then she comes up to the register with 2 items in her hands. As she's placing them on the countertop, the following happens. Me, M, and her. See you, M. Hey there. See you. Hi. First of all, this is probably a weird question. You don't have to say yes at all. I totally get it. Really. Absolutely no worries if you don't want to. M. Ask away. See you. Again, you don't have to say yes. I managed to forget my wallet, and you don't have to agree, but I was wondering if maybe you'd pay and I could transfer you the money. It's totally cool if not. She seemed a bit embarrassed for asking, but she only had 2 items which came to roughly $10 or so. So I tell her of course, no worries, and go to grab my wallet from the staff room. As I come back to the register, literally 5 seconds later, she's repeatedly thanking me and saying how I'm a very nice person, etc. She finds her phone to get out the app and asks me to type in my number so she can transfer the money. I pay, bag up her stuff, and she's all grateful and happy and wishes me a nice evening and weekend as she leaves. Afterwards I went to put my wallet away and checked my phone. The app lets you leave a note on your transfer, To which she left something along the lines of "Thank you. You're a sweetheart. Made my boring evening much better. Thank you." Next. I work at a sporting goods store, where we offer a loyalty rewards program for customers. For every $300 spent, the customer receives a $10 discount coupon. It takes about a month for rewards to appear and they eventually expire. I had a customer come in during my previous shift to purchase one of our higher end coolers, a $200 cooler that she got for nearly half off. She showed me an online only coupon, $20 off $100 or more, that we sometimes accept, depending on which manager is in charge. I at first turned it down, but she seemed upset and said, "But insert random co-worker said I could use it." Knowing we have accepted it in the past, I went ahead and put it in instead of arguing. She then turns her phone over me to scan for a reward. Okay, no problem. Then she applies another one, and soon she saved at least $60. How is she getting all these rewards if it's impossible with the way the system works? Guess what? She comes in again today, and happens to come right back to my same register. This time she buys a pack of gum, and a name brand $40 water thermos. She has at least $4.10 rewards. By now I put everything together and realize who she was. A $45-ish purchase that she got for $1.85. What? By then I alert my manager and we pull up a receipt with her loyalty account number. My manager agrees it's suspicious and nearly impossible for her to be doing this. The way our rewards work, our system can detect if it had been used before, so these are not coupons that she's recycling. Plus you cannot receive that many at once. Some of her scan attempts did say they had been used at other stores, but she still had so many other rewards that did work. And I noticed the app was not our store's app. I couldn't recognize what it was. She just showed me a barcode to scan and it worked. Through the loyalty account, you can look up previous transactions and there were so many of her getting items for free or nearly free. Just very weird to me. Edit. I asked her what the app was, didn't think that would be accusing her of anything, and she just brushed it off as being our app. She has the same phone as me and I can tell you that was certainly not our app. I'm sorry this was so long. I'm on mobile. I would like to hear any opinions and if you have any questions just ask. I may be wrong but my managers agreed it was very suspicious. We'll keep an eye out for her again. Thank you. Next. Sure, why wouldn't I sell alcohol to your horde of 12-year-olds? So I spent a decade working on and off in a small town express store in the UK. And I mean really small. We were the only shop open after 7, and it was a half-hour drive to anywhere else. So this guy, about 40, walks in with a full party of kids. There's about 9 of them, and none of them look older than 13. The alcohol is right next to the till. They walk right up and the man says, "Okay guys, choose what you want," and I watch in amazement as they all grab cans and bottles and come to my till. I just stared wide-eyed at him. There's no way I'm serving you. You've just said it was for them right in front of me. Right single quotation mark. Him. But they're staying at my house. Right single quotation mark. Me. That has nothing to do with it. It's illegal to buy alcohol for under 18s. Right single quotation mark. Him. Angry. Fine. We'll take our business elsewhere. Stomps out. Yeah, good luck with that at 11 PM in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure this global corporation will regret missing out on the profit from the 3 curly-whirly bars you left in your basket. Thank you. Next. I'm still so angry at people and I hope writing about this will help me fall asleep. I'm working in the office of a shopping mall, and we think of different campaigns for special holidays or even just in between so that customers have a nice shopping experience. We had helium-filled heart-shaped balloons as a decoration leading to Valentine's Day. People started cutting them off the day they were put up. Today we gave them out to our customers, and they were so rude and brazen I can't put my head around it. I wanted 2 or 3 at a time because they have as many kids. I'm amazed at how many people have so many kids suddenly. The aunt of my former best friend who works in one of the shops and never speaks to me suddenly talked to me in my mother tongue. In general, I was amazed at how many of the mall's shop's employees came over to get a balloon. It's for the customers. One of the employees even tried to get one before we started giving them out. That's a finned example. No wonder that the customers think they can do whatever they want if even the employees try to self-serve. I'm 99% sure that one employee came twice. She just changed shirts, but I am so certain it was her. If not, she either has a twin or somebody who looks almost like her. But I think it was her because when I said she already got a balloon, she looked at her shirt, said, "Do you think I changed clothes?" and left pretty quickly. Another employee wanted 4 balloons for her boss. Like, girl, what do you think is going to happen if I give you more than one? One guy said, "Fuck you, you whores," in my mother tongue because I didn't give him a bigger size balloon. We had small ones and big ones. He didn't know I would understand him, I guess. In general, people always wanted one of the bigger sized balloons. Like, instead of being grateful that they got one, they tried to argue with us to get their way. I'm angry and sad that such a nice gesture so often ends in a chaos, and that some of the customers were being so rude about it. If you ask nicely, you get farther. And I'm appalled at the shop's employees' behavior. Who does that? The problem is that they know me because I'm often found in the mall taking pictures or organizing stuff, and I think they believe they have an advantage because co-worker connection or something. But from a customer's point of view, I'd be angry if they'd get a better treatment than me, the customer. Is it wrong of me to think that? I can't treat the employees better than the normal customers when it comes to public handing out of free stuff. A few weeks ago we gave out shopping bags, and in the afternoon the girls just had to hang them on their arms and hold their arms out, and people swarmed them to get a bag. We didn't have any left for the second day, and some people were angry at that and won't take part in campaigns like this anymore. It's always first come first serve. What do you think when something is for free? That people will say, "Oh, I bet there are others who want to get a gift too"? No. Instead they try to get 2 or 3 or 4 because it's free. I'm still not tired and it's almost 5 AM. Ugh.